When you're scrolling through a page of online classifieds, at first glance, it just looks like total chaos, a completely random jumble of our digital lives. But what if I told you there's a whole hidden story in that mess? A surprisingly clear picture of who we are, what we want, and what we're afraid of. Today, we're going to take a journey through this digital bazaar and see what it's really telling us.
And it starts right here with raw, immediate need. Somebody, somewhere, needs money and they need it now. It's a real snapshot of pure financial urgency.
And then, bam, in the very next click, we get whiplash. We pivot from that desperation to pure passion. I mean, this isn't just a car part. This is a piece of history, an incredibly specific item for a super dedicated collector.
Then, things get personal. We shift from the material world to the mystical. This ad, well, it speaks to hope, to relationships, and to that very human search for answers that are, a little beyond the everyday. And finally, we land smack in the middle of the corporate world. ISO 5001. It's a global standard for energy management. This is a business trying to get ahead, trying to prove itself on an international stage. So, there you have it. Urgent needs, niche passions, personal quests, and professional ambition, all just sitting right next to each other. Okay, so yeah, that's the chaos. But what if it's not really chaos at all? Let's actually dive into this. When we pull all these different ads together, what's the real story they're telling? What can this digital marketplace truly reveal about our modern world?
Right. So I want you to think of this not as some random web page, but as a huge, sprawling, and incredibly honest marketplace. It's a bazaar where every single stall tells a totally different story. And by walking through it, we get this completely unfiltered look at our collective desires, our anxieties, and yeah, our dreams. So our first stop is what I'm calling the engine room of this bazaar, the daily grind. This is where we find all the ads that basically power our everyday lives, the ones that are all about survival and just trying to get ahead. And just look at the sheer volume here. It's kind of staggering. The number of ads for things like same-day loans or fast cash is huge. It really points to this constant, powerful undercurrent of financial pressure that a lot of people are feeling. And right alongside all those loan ads, you have a flood of professional certifications. It's really like two sides of the very same coin. On one side, you've got the struggle to just get by, day to day. And on the other, you have the ambition to get ahead, to secure your spot in a super competitive economy. Both are about financial security, just coming from completely different ends of the spectrum. And this ambition is really, really forward-looking. I mean, it's not just about getting a job for today. You see ads promising to update skills for 2026 jobs. 2026? That's such a clear sign of the anxiety people have about the future of work and that constant hustle to stay relevant. Okay, so we've seen the engine room, the daily grind. Now we're moving from what people need to do to survive and get by to what they deeply, truly want to have. We are entering the part of the bazaar where the dreams are for sale. Let's start with a big one. Just look at this number, over 9.5 million rupees. That's well over 100,000 US dollars, and it's the asking price for a luxury apartment. This represents a massive, life-changing financial aspiration. But then, just a few clicks away from that multi-million rupee dream home, you find this, a quote from a short-term loan ad. The contrast it's just jarring. One ad is selling a life of incredible wealth, while the other is offering a so-called secret lifeline to someone who's just trying to stay afloat. And notice the language here, how these dreams are sold. They aren't just selling you property, they're selling you an identity. The ad doesn't just say, apartment for sale. No, it says, live the luxury life. The dream itself is the product. But hey, dreams aren't always about new luxury. Sometimes they're about old metal. An ad for a vintage Ferrari bumper? This is a completely different kind of aspiration. It's not about status in the same way. It's about passion for history, for craftsmanship, and that thrill of restoring something beautiful from the past. And then there's the personal, creative dream. Tucked right in between the ads for loans and apartments, you find this simple post from an author. Joel Goulet isn't selling a product so much as he is selling his stories. He's just looking for an audience. It's a great reminder that the dream of just being seen and heard is every bit as powerful as any financial one. So, what does this all mean when we put it together?
Let's zoom out from all the individual stalls and look at the whole, messy, chaotic bazaar. What are the big patterns that start to pop out?
Well, for one thing, it is messy. This one perfectly captures the weird friction of our global local world. So we've got an ad for a dentist in San Antonio, Texas, but the location for the ad is listed as New York. It's a tiny little error that reveals a much bigger truth. These giant global platforms often create some seriously bizarre local confusion.
Seriously, it makes you just stop and ask, wait a minute, where is this exactly? This digital messiness isn't some flaw in the system, it kind of is the system. It reflects a very human, very imperfect reality trying to navigate a digital world that's supposed to be totally seamless.
So what have we learned on our little tour? Well, we've seen how a world of intense, immediate need exists just one click away from incredible luxury. It's a stark portrait of our modern economy. We've seen how global platforms create this weird local chaos. And really, what it comes down to is this. The digital bazaar is a perfect, unfiltered mirror of our complex and often contradictory desires. It reflects everything from career ambitions and personal passions to, yes, financial desperation. And that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. As we scroll through this endless bazaar, looking for what we need or what we want, we're not just looking in from the outside, we are part of it. So if this marketplace is a reflection of us, who are we exactly in this huge, complicated, and very, very human picture?